You obviously know Kung Fu.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Urban Action Showcase and Expo, and we are here with some talented stunt people and actors for the Behind the Action panel. I got EVELYN, VACCARO, Kenny Wong, Ricky Barksdale, David CHEN, and Jose Manuel. Thank you guys all for coming by to chat with us. This show celebrates action and martial arts in the film and TV community. So you guys bring that action to life for us. Do me a favor though, give everybody an introduction of yourselves. Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. Hi, I'm EVELYN. Let's see, is this on?
Okay, let's do this one.
Okay. Hi, I'm EVELYN VACCARO, and I work as a stunt performer. Is that the intro?
Sure.
Great.
I'm Kenny Wong, and I'm also a stunt performer.
Ricky Barksdale, I'm a stunt performer as well. I'm David CHEN, and I'm a stunt performer as well.
Hi, my name is Jose, and I'm a filmmaker actor.
Awesome. And what we do here is we talk about celebrating the work that you guys do. Ricky, I know you posted recently that not long ago you were out there, and today you're on a panel. You guys talk to me about for all of the other Ricky Barksdales that are in the audience today. What do you think it takes to be a stunt person? What is it that you need to do to get involved with this industry? And then after that, why? Why would you do this?
Long story short, when I got out the military, I actually started modeling so my kids could see Dad was handsome at one point. So fast forward, I ran into a buddy of mine, asked me about acting, started off doing background work, and then a friend of mine that I trained with in Kyokushin Karate asked me if I wanted to be part of a fight scene. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And the rest is history. What it takes, a lot of patience, tolerance for pain. Because, it's going to happen, and, be an open book.
Yeah.
Don't be a know-it-all. Take time, have fun, and absorb everything that you learn.
Cool. Guys, I want everybody to give their input, so.
I'm going to back up Ricky on this. Ricky's a little shy. Ricky also, you and I, we worked together also on an indie film called Mortal Kombat: The Chosen One, and we did stunt work on that together, stunt acting together. As far as what you were saying, what does it take? Ricky said you have to have patience, dedication. You got to know what you're capable of doing as a stunt performer. Don't say you can do car hits and you can't do car hits, or stair fall, you can't do stair fall. You got if you have a skill, work on that skill, learn a new skill, and
Okay, Jose?
Well, my background is a little different. I'm kind of like a shy guy, and I approach all of this like on my own pretty much. And eventually I met some good people that actually took a note, and they said, yeah, you could fit in this group, so come over. And I was glad that I did. I met some of these guys, have shared some moments with them, and I feel just grateful that I'm here, and that I can also, speak from my own experience also. And in my case, I just took the camera, started doing my own thing, and then next thing you know, little by little, you get somewhere. And when you actually understand how to replicate what you did before and how to make it work better next time, and you feel more confident, you just keep doing it. So it's been like that for me.
Kenny, how about you?
I'm just going to reiterate what these guys just said, but definitely emphasize the tolerance for pain. Because anybody can do a fall or any hard hit once, but when you work in the industry and they make you do multiple takes, that's where it really matters.
Not doing a great job of selling, but yeah, professional.
I was very fortunate to have been brought into the business by legendary Jerry Hewitt. I'm very grateful to him, and I always continue to listen to what he's told me, and he always said it's all about love, and that's who I am, and that's why I think we connected so well. I think that when you enter this field of film and television, whether it's acting or stunts, it does require a lot of patience, and you never want to present yourself to be someone that you're not. You can't go in there thinking, oh, this is easy. Sometimes we do run down the street, but there's other times when we do fire burns or a car hit. I did one. It's not, I'm glad I did it. I'm done, one and done. But you know, it does take a lot of training, and like you said, patience and just being a good person. I think that a lot of times in this business, people forget that people spend 16 hours a day with others on set, and the real thing is, most of these stunt coordinators, they want to hang out with their friends. Of course, their friends have to be skilled. They're not going to just, hey, come along and have fun. But it's about being a good person and being someone that people want to be around, as well as doing a good job. That'll get your foot in the door, but then you have to bring it. And so that's what I try to do myself. And I know I'm sitting here with some pretty big deals right here. I don't know how I got myself here, but thank you.
No, but you are a big deal here. Hold on, I'm going to go back to you. So, who was it that influenced you first to even try stunts? You all talked about a little bit of pain. Nobody likes that. So, what was it that you saw, or who was it that inspired you to say, you know what? I don't mind a little pain. I don't mind rolling in fire or whatever, and decided to, or spurred that decision to pursue the stunt life.
I've actually been working in film and television since I was 19 years old. I worked as a commercial actress, and most of the jobs that I did were high-acting action, where there was snowboarding, wakeboarding, horseback riding, diving, swimming. I'm a strong swimmer. So it was a natural progression for me to get into stunts, and ever since I was a kid, I was a little on the wild side. We always had a rope swing. We were always hanging on the back of buses on our rollerblades. We were always skitching on the streets, you know, behind cars that didn't even know we were there in the snow. So I always had that side of mine, and of course my brother was a professional boxer, so a lot of that, you know, got that influence. But I'd say that I really enjoy action. I really enjoy helping the actresses, and I think that if anybody influenced me, it would have been my mom, because my mom was the one that taught me all my first outdoor adventures.
Wow, that's cool. That's very cool.
I actually got into stunts by accident. I never knew stunts was an actual job. I come from a background of doing martial arts and gymnastics, so I in between all the training, I had friends that I trained with that we saw a lot of movies, and we were so into Jet Li, Jackie Chan, and all that stuff, and we were playing around, and I would get my uncle's high-8 camera, and we'd shoot these little amateur videos together. But I think at one point during gymnastics training, one of my friends was like, do you want to do stunts? And I was like, I don't even know what that is. What is it? And she goes like, well, there's a guy, his name is Roberto Lopez. He's looking for some Asian stunt guys to do this feature. And I was like, okay. And he's worked with Sammo Hung. And I heard of Sammo, and I was like, oh, cool. So she gave me his contact number. I called him, and I pestered him. I was like, hey, you know, it's like, this person says you want someone to do crazy stuff. And, you know, he's like, yeah, just come and audition. And I auditioned for him, and he made me do all these crazy things. And next thing I knew, like, he hired me for the job. And I just ended up working in stunts since then. And it's been actually really fun. And Berto and another partner of his who just recently passed away, Marcos, were my influences in the industry. And another person that's heavily influenced me as well was Robert Ty, who did the 5 Deadly Venoms. I worked with him under Berto. And then I have my current mentor too, Chuck Jeffries, who's done Blade and all these other movies. So those are my 4 influences in the industry.
Awesome. Ricky, how about you?
I don't even know where to begin. So growing up, you know, I'm sure a lot of us watched the Chinese martial arts movies on Fox at noon on Saturdays. So
3 o'clock.
That's what started for me. And then when I lived with my dad, I practically seen every Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I was like, grew up on action movies. How I became a stuntman, I originally wanted to be an actor. And then, like I said earlier, my buddy asked me about it, and then that's like, oh, I want to do this. What motivated me to get better was the bigger guys in the industry, we get the stigma, we're too slow, we're not agile. So I made it my goal to be quick and to be, you know, make my kicks look good and make them strong. And, you know, the rest is history. And like now my goal as a stunt performer is to work in a a military movie to represent the guys that I served.
Nice.
That's one of them. The other one, I'm sure a lot of people here saw The Raid Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
That final fight scene in the kitchen, when it was all said and done, all I remember is the entire theater erupted. So that's my main goal as a stunt performer, to give that to the audience, to give them that satisfaction and excitement in the action world.
Cool.
My story is a little similar to Ricky's. Growing up, Shaw Brothers, Saturday afternoon. My father used to, he's the one who got me into that, and then I got into martial arts, and then The Last Dragon was kind of like the movie that got me wanting to do it really. And then, I was an action junkie, so my dad always took me. My dad was the one who let me see the movies and stuff that I wasn't supposed to see. So like Lethal Weapon and all those movies, Chuck Norris movies, stuff like that. So I just loved that, and I wanted to do it. And then I eventually, I was an action junkie, so I became a bounty hunter. I went to the military and had a lot of little things going in there. But all my jobs have been more of a physical thing, and then I decided I wanted to actually become an actor. And I was doing background work on the show Gotham, and kind of hustled my way in. And I met this gentleman back there, Manny, who I would say is one of my mentors in this business, because he dropped a lot of knowledge on me when I came in, and he was very blunt about it. That guy right there with the Bruce Lee hat on. So once I got in, and he basically just told me, don't mess up, and that resonated with me. And so I got to work with all these guys up here. We haven't worked together yet. We have some. But we've known each other for quite a while. But working with them inspires me. That's what makes me want to keep doing this. And stunts became more of a priority than acting to me. Square to the point where now I can kind of have both go at this simultaneously. I can get hired for a role where I'm an actor doing his own stunts. So that's where I'm at. And eventually I would like to, continue to do that until my body says no. And then I'll just transition over to acting or whatever.
I feel it's unfair because I have time to think about my response.
We're starting to the next one, so.
Good. Balance it out. But in all sincerity, I was actually thinking about it, and I do remember that, through specifically when I was a kid, through my grandfather, I liked watching movies, and he would just try to dress me up like a little cowboy, and he would say like, "Hey, you should be a movie star," and I'm like, "Well, maybe I should consider this," but it's all daydream, kind of shit. It just kept on going with me, and I started doing my own thing when I was like in my teens. No expectations, basically, but I really loved it. Obviously, all the influences that you guys have said, like Jackie Chan, Stallone, all those action movies from the 80s. And I would watch them, I would be deeply inspired. And at some point I said, maybe I should, try it. I really didn't set up myself to do something in the future. But I thought that maybe if I could I'm from Puerto Rico, so I thought maybe if I do a movie locally, then after that, I'll be like, okay, then I feel like I did something. But that, when I had the opportunity to do it, then after that it became like, oh my God, then now I have to do it, I want to do it again. So it kind of became like a never-ending thing from then on, see? And then after that, I started meeting people, I started coming here. And from then it grew up into other things. Obviously, Manny received me here. He was the one that introduced me to all of you guys. And thankfully, I've also I've met people that said, you have something, you're a good kid, so I'm just going to introduce you to people because I think that you'll get along with them also. So I owe it to that mostly.
Yeah. All right, so hold on to that because we're starting with you. So stunts, obviously creates some dynamic action for all of us fans, gives us some of the highest highs in the movie. Talk to me about the stunt industry itself. Give me a high point for you in the industry, and then maybe to balance it out, give me a point where you're like, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can say for a fact that I admire stunt performers, and I've come to terms into probably it is not something that is tailored for me. Not saying that I wouldn't do it. It's something that I think it takes another type of grit And sometimes I miss it. I'm type of like leaning on to the sensible side. But you would say that, and I've done some stunts professionally. I've had the opportunity to do it. That's why I come into these conclusions, right? And based on my experience, based on what I've been through. And I did remember being on a set where I got hurt. I got hurt. And it's something that you should be aware if you're doing stunts. You know, that's something that could happen. You know, it shouldn't happen, but it could happen. And my reaction, even though I thought it was natural, I got hit with this. It was like a gun, like a rifle. It wasn't this. What show was this? The Oath, I think it was. They were shooting it in Puerto Rico. I was playing a security guard that had some acting, but I had a neck injury, and I didn't like it. And I was like, you know, if I do this, this is going to take a lot of grit, meaning there's pain involved, and you could either, you know, muscle through it if that's what you want to do, or just put perspective on what for you, what suits your shoes. So I try to be realistic with that, and I love doing stunts whenever I know, obviously, stuff like, oh, the camera's going to be there, then I can project like this. This way, then I can project like this. But when you're out of that control, it can get a little messy, especially if you don't have a lot of honed skills that are good to go, see? And in my case, I would say that I know how to pretend it well, but I am not the best martial artist, see? So that's something that I already made peace with. And I mean, in all fairness, I can do stunts, it's not that. But I would rather sometimes, you know, be more conscious, or you could say could be a little bit of control. I don't want to use that word. But I've also been in situations in which I know how to just let go. And you have to be ready for that also. So it just depends on the situation. That would be my 2 cents on stunts.
For me, high point in my career in stunts has been recently, I could say, like the last year of work.
Cool.
Before the strike. So I got to work on Walking Dead City with Kenny.
Nice.
You know, we had a scene together. You know? And I got to work. I got to work with directors and do things that I've been wanting to do in this career. So, like I said, Walking Dead, a couple of shows that just came out. As far as a low point, I haven't really had a low point in this career. Now, I have not had one day where I'm like, you know, I don't think I want to do this. I have not. And I've broken my collarbone on shows. I've been in freezing cold. We've all worked cold, you know. Andy, we worked in Gotham. We were in a dungeon, and I'm wearing a cut-off T-shirt. It's like 5 degrees down there. You know, and you can't shake because you gotta. You know,
right.
So maybe that night. Okay. You know what? I don't know. But other than that, you know, the pain is a part of the job. You know, eventually, again, like Kenny said, if you're doing a take, I had to do a scene where I had to get clotheslined in a hospital on person of interest and basically flat back on a linoleum floor. Did it 3 times, and they're like, all right, close up. And I'm like, oh. And they want to do it again. And they do it 7, 8 times, and after a while, you're like, all right. You know,
one of those has to be good, right?
But, you know, when you see what you've done, and you get that check also, it makes you feel better, you know. Sure. And then that's just it. Like I said, I've had great times, but I've never really wanted to quit this.
Fair enough.
Where do I begin? My first injury that happened on Mortal Kombat. When my boy punched me in the face. So it was a very basic, simple scene where, you know, he kicks my leg, I fall down, and he punches me in the face. But this time he really cracked me in the face. And I'm like, I know stunts is supposed to, I know it's painful, but is this supposed to happen? But that didn't deter me. The one that did almost deter me, it's a basic fall. Every stunt performer knows how to do a basic front flip side fall. And I think about maybe the 5th or 6th one, I felt a really bad stinger go up my hip, and I was like, ooh. It's like, he's like, Rick, you good to go? I'm like, no. And it's like, I felt nothing but sharp pain shooting up and down my leg. my third injury was on Law and Order, the original. Did a flying tackle, no problem, landed, got up, did it again, and then walking back to the trailer to change, and I took off my boot. I'm like, that's a weird feeling. And I ripped my toenail off of my big toe, yeah. But ironically, I didn't feel it. It's when it came off.
Sure,
Yeah. So, but I haven't had any real like major low points or major injuries, thank God. And you know, I love doing this. You know, I, like David said, I love entertaining people, and seeing the final result of what we do is the motivation to keep going. Of course, the check is really good. But it's just fun to entertain people with my body. Because originally, like I said, I wanted to be an actor, and then I was like, you know, stunts is better because I can really do this. I've always been an active, physical person.
Cool.
You know, I just want to keep going until they've said so. My body says, okay, take a break, buddy.
That's awesome.
My highlight. My highlight is more the experience and the people that I've met, and those first people, Roberto and Marcos, were my first introduction to stunts. And when I first trained with them and did some projects with them, it was a really great experience to learn about how they do these things, because you've always seen this stuff in the movies and you never really think, oh, you know, it's like, it's easy. But the moment that they showed me like the wire work, choreography, the complexity, and like these guys all know, the patience to put this stuff together, to work with people that you're familiar with and unfamiliar with, it's a lot of work. But it's also fun because you get to learn about each other and you learn how to do this as a team. And the biggest high point for me was when they brought me to Ohio, where I met Robert Ty with them. And because he's done stuff for the Shaw Brothers movies, he took me in right away because I spoke Chinese, and he started telling me, like, if you're going to learn under me, you have to stay by my side and you have to watch what I do. And I never asked for it, and I was like, okay. And being he's Taiwanese, Chinese, they have that kind of, you know, way with you, and you're also of the same culture. And
Sure.
he was hard on me, but I took it because I thought, this is great. You know, he's taking me in, he's sharing his knowledge with me, and he showed me choreography. He showed me how he shot with the camera, how he edits, how he writes his notes, telling me how to make props for the entire team to enact these scenes. I remember translating so much of this stuff to Berto at the time and Marcos. I'm like, oh, I want a sword. So what I want you guys to do is, the sword is actually a belt. It doesn't look like a sword, but when you unclips the buck right here, you go, whoosh, and then it's a sword. How do we do that? You know, things like that. It was really, really insightful to see all this stuff, and then to have him share, I have an idea for a wire gag. I want 10 people on a wire that's rigged on this big structure overhead the forest, and everyone's gonna do this, and we're all gonna do this at the same time. And I just remember thinking, because it's my early career, I was like, how are you gonna do that? That's so complex. So just that experience alone was a big highlight for me, because I learned so much. It's something that I constantly look toward in standard for myself, because every time I think, you know, if I'm not doing good enough, I have to think of that experience and think, I have to think of that. Otherwise, you know, it's like, why do it?
Sure.
And the other mentor, Chuck Jeffries, he's also shared so much knowledge with me. He shared another side of film fighting and action and design for me, where, you know, I have to rethink everything. So everybody that I've ever come in contact with has been such a great influence and such a great inspiration for me, that was a big highlight for me. And I don't know if people would think this is a highlight too. I mean, yeah, it's a low point, but I see as a high point is when I almost got killed on a Disney job.
All right, that's kind of a low point for everything, I think. No?
Yeah, but I kind of took it and thought, you know, I was like, this happened to me. I woke up the next day and I thought, I was like, okay, I'm up.
Wow.
What do I do now? You know, it's like, my first thought, rather than worry about my condition was like, I see everybody, my mother, my father, the producers, the director, the coordinator, they're like, you okay? I was like, yeah. And did we get the shot? And they're like, yeah. What'd you think? I was like, I don't know. I was like, if we didn't, do I have to do it again? And they're like, you think you can do it again? Yeah. It's like, try to get up from your bed. And I was lying in bed like this, and the moment I was, ugh, everything was in pain. And I broke 8 ribs and, ruptured my spleen. So they were like, yeah, you think you can get up and do the stunt again? I was like, oh man, I didn't know it was that bad.
Wow.
But I took a bad situation and turned it into something where I was like, I'm gonna be stronger and I'm gonna get back 100%. And I made it that my goal. Rather than look at it as a bad thing, I knew it was like, this is my job. This is the first time something this bad happened to me. So I'm gonna make it work out and go back to normal. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I would think I do spend a lot of time training in my car. I have 2 stunt cars, and I spend a lot of time and a lot of money on training for driving. I love to drive. I've been driving since I was 14, even though my mom doesn't know that. I sneak the car into the city. Yeah, it's a little wild. But what's nice is that more recently, coordinators, most out of LA and Atlanta, have been giving me bigger and bigger opportunities. And one of those opportunities was to finally drive on set. And not just drive, but I've done 180s, I've done flying 90s, I've come in hot, really, really hot, and just, right to camera. So that's been a real highlight for me, is being trusted behind the wheel, because it's a machine and it's deadly. I've had some other highlights where, I'm a strong swimmer, and the opportunity that I was given on Black Panther to find myself with some pretty strong breath holds in some pretty long scenes. I thought I was gonna die at one point. I thought, are they gonna call cut? But I managed, I made it. So those were some really amazing highlights for me. As far as low points go, I don't have any low points. I have to say that right now, I'm very grateful that I can say that everything right now is really positive and really amazing.
Awesome. Hold on to the mic, because I want, this one's for the ladies only, guys. So how different is it for the females in the industry as opposed to just the industry in general? Is it harder? Is it tougher to get seen? Is it tougher to be integrated into the stunt community? Or tell me what the perspective is from your side.
I actually, it's kind of funny because I don't really think about being a female or a male. All I care about is training and making sure that I have the skill set to get myself hired. And I feel like the coordinators, as long as you can do the job and as long as you can prove that you can do the job, they don't care if you're a male or a female. Now that's my experience. Other females may have other experiences where like, they put a lot of guys in the ND spots, they put a lot of the guys in there. And if you look at IMDb and you look at the shows, it's true. You will see a lot of males under the ND spots. But I do know a lot more women that are getting those spots now. And so I think if they just have that skill, continue to train, they're gonna get the work. And that's how I feel, right?
Yeah, awesome. Hold on to that, Evelyn, because I have one more question. With the SAG-AFTRA strike just ended, one of the issues there was AI and the use of AI, for actors' likenesses and all that. With the development of AI, with the development of animatronics and all of that stuff, I know in Disney World, LA, they have that cool robot that does the Spider-Man jump. Do you guys worry about that kind of thing taking over more and more of the stunt industry so that you guys don't get hurt? Or, does that come into your mind as you continue to further your careers?
Yes, I won't mention any names of the productions. I tend to keep names and things out of things, but every time I think about this one particular situation that happens to me, I actually get a little nauseous because I was called in for a job, I was flown out for a job, and I thought, oh, how cool, I'm getting flown out for work, this is amazing, they gave me first class. And then I got there, and suddenly I found myself in a tube, and there were tons of cameras. And I was asked to make all kinds of facial expressions, act scared, act happy, laugh, be shy. I mean, it went on for 2 hours. And then suddenly it hit me. I'm only getting a day's pay for this. And I knew that my face, and I get the chills when I think about it right now, I know my face ended up on thousands of these animations that they made. And that's always going to be hard for me to swallow. So I'm very, very proud of what the union has done to be able to stop that, to protect us, and for future generations.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like we should protect our likenesses because there are some jobs where we've done mocap, and some of the contracts that you sign basically ask you to sign away your likeness so that they can use it infinitely, but you don't get compensated. So that is something that I definitely am against, and I'm glad that, like everyone said, that we have something in place in our new contracts.
Yeah, definitely.
Originally in the beginning, before I found out what they were actually doing, I thought it might have been a good idea to add AI for certain things that we cannot physically do.
Sure.
But then when I found out what they were doing in the long run, they want to take your likeness, use it for the next 200 years, and like you or your descendants will never get paid. That's when I was like, yeah, that's not cool. And I'm glad that the union put a stop to that immediately. Once I got more knowledge of what was going on. Also, I want to piggyback on something about the ladies in the stunt industry. Truth be told, I think they're tougher than the men. The reason why I say that is because they wear less clothing,
Sure, yeah.
doing the same amount of stuff we do. And yep, those 3 ladies right there. Like, I've seen them work.
And they're right there, Cheryl.
Yeah, with Cheryl. Hey Cheryl, how you doing? Like I've seen all of them work, and to hit the same concrete that I'm doing, but I got a jacket, I got a long sleeve, and they'll be wearing like a super tight shirt, super tight pants. There's less padding for them, so I give them a lot of props for being able to take that type of punishment, as much as we are.
And high heels.
And high heels, yes. They're doing this in heels. Like, I don't know how y'all do that, but y'all deserve a lot of praise for doing what you do.
Going back to the AI, I agree with everything they say, so I really don't have much to add to that, except that I'm not too worried about it, because, I mean, have you seen the video of Will Smith eating spaghetti?
That's
I mean, I feel like, I'm not too worried, but no, seriously, I'm glad that the union fixed that. And piggybacking off the stunt thing with the ladies, Evan and I have worked together on the show,
Oh my God.
when you were doubling the lady, and you had the dress and the heels on, you had to hit the floor when I got shot and everything.
That was for Brian Smythe.
No, that was,
Oh my goodness.
it was a show. We did a show together, but also, like, the women are badass. Cheryl, I worked with her on a movie, Proud Mary, badass. Victoria, Amanda, all badass. So yes, the women, they have to wear less. Like you said. They have to blend and hide and so it's rougher for them. So, yeah.
I've been reading a lot about AI and trying to make peace with the thing. I think that like at once we had cashiers, and then now you can, pay for it on your own. Like industries sometimes change. It's just a matter of how to balance it out. I believe that AI was also created by us. So in a way, how can the creator be obsolete? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't think that that'll happen. We'll just have to find a way to blend it in and to understand this thing is too new. When things are new, they get out of proportion, and somehow later on they stabilize. So hopefully it's a tool that we can use and nothing that is going to take away from us, because at the very end we were the ones that created the thing. So you're not going to control me. If that happens, then we have a sci-fi movie in real life, and then we'll just get the cameras out and we'll have a bunch of sci-fi movies.
All right, hang on to that microphone. Tell me, all of you, please. You got a dream budget. You got a dream project in your pocket. What are you making?
Well, I'm doing a project called The Land of the Brave Lord. It is really an action stunt project leaning on this experiment of having a lot of cool backgrounds that are from Puerto Rico. having all this, rainforest and, these waterfalls and all, having that in the backdrop and other great sites that are just hidden in the island. So I've been like scouting and just thinking like, this is a good place for a fight scene. This other place is a good place for another fight. So it's been more like a passion project of mine that I've been doing slowly. It kind of has been evolving slowly, but it's taking push in the sense that it has been like reinvented over and over. Like I started this premise. This is one of the first short films I did back in 2009, something like that. So then after now, with all the experience that I've gathered, I said, hey, I want to try do it again, reinvent it, and try to make all the characters look unique and just trying to give some colors to it that actually fits a world. And with that, it became like, hey, maybe I should at some point do a video game about this, or do some comics about this, or an action figure, which I happen to have some on my table there. So it's been like a discovery of this artistic thing that I wanted to do based on the experience that I gathered from working with other filmmakers and the experience that I've had of working with other people. I'm always like, I try to be like learning all the time, looking at stuff and I can use that in this way. I could do this in this other way. So I'm like that. So it comes like natural because I mean it's like it's something that I do professionally, but it's been something that I've done since I was a teenager. So it's like it's hard to shake off when there's an identity involved and you kind of identify yourself with something and you're like, if I don't do this, I immediately start like fading. So I have to keep doing it in order to feel like I'm still existing, even. It's kind of like that. But I have fun with it, regardless if it's hard to go or when there's favor involved. Either or, like Evelyn said, it's all like you love it, you do it, and that's what it takes, I guess.
Cool.
What was the question again?
Dream budget, dream project.
I mean, I have a few I write as well, but I would say that my top one would be I can't really say what it is.
You can say
I don't want to waste no time.
Yeah.
I'll say it's something to do with neo-noir and taking one of the oldest stories in the Bible and modernizing it and
Cool.
adding elements of horror and murder and things that would probably get me punched in the face.
Something you're used to anyway, so that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah.
Awesome.
I've got two dream projects. Obviously, one of them is to military movies. For example, the Buffalo Soldiers, the Red Ball Express during World War II.
Cool,
because every movie out there, every time you see World War II, it's like they're omitting the 442nd Regiment, the all Japanese battalion, the most decorated unit in World War II. And I feel like their stories need to be told. That's definitely a dream project of mine. And another would be something of the modern era when Dave deployed, just to show people like, hey, look, we're not robots, we have fun, we do stupid stuff. A movie that captured that recently is called The Outpost. Like, I used to watch them for the action, but now I watch it for the bonding that they get amongst the soldiers.
Cool,
And that's
yeah.
the most important thing. That's
Yeah.
what we miss the most. The other one is a fight scene. If you guys remember that movie They Live, where Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that parking lot fight scene? Like, it's almost 40 years old and it still stands the test of time. It's like it's just two grown men duking it out, and it's like you're always gonna remember those hits. When he got backdrop onto the ground and then Keith Davis kneeing him in the nuts. It's like, but yeah, those are my major goals as a stunt performer, and hopefully one day they'll happen.
Cool. Very cool.
My dream project. I probably would adapt my comic idea into a animated series
Cool.
because I love stuff like Lord of the Rings, Last Airbender, samurai stuff, and I want to blend all that into like the animated series.
That's cool. And for anybody who doesn't know, you are a comic book artist.
Yes, I also draw comics now.
I love it.
Awesome. Evelyn, how about you?
Well,
Okay, so when I'm not doing stunts, my passion is helping rescue animals. I do a lot of work with animals as a volunteer. And right now, I'm currently in production of a film called Tales of a Scorpio Stinger, where I play a vigilante that goes after people that hurt animals.
Cool.
And we actually are filming it all of ourselves, so it takes time. If I had a budget, boy, I'd hire an amazing crew, because we're kind of doing it all ourselves. But it's coming out pretty good, and I think I might see if I can submit it for next year's Urban Action.
Very cool. Very cool. I think we're gonna be wrapping up shortly. So, give everybody here your socials. Let them know where they can find you and find out more information about everything that you have going on.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. I'd love to follow you back. You can find me on Instagram at EVELYN Stunts, and the same, EVELYN VACCARO on Facebook. I'd love to follow you back. Please hit me up. Let's have a chat.
Very cool. Thank you.
I only use Instagram, and it's not stunt related, but it's all art. So it would be Kenny Wong, Genga, Genga Draws.
Awesome.
All my socials are my name, Ricky Barksdale, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
On Instagram, underscore David CHEN underscore. Facebook, David CHEN.
Everything I think should be on my website, swashbucklerstudio.com, swashbucklerstudio.com. And my Instagram, if you guys, want to talk to me personally or whatever, would be the silent flute __. So yeah, that's it.
So all the directors, producers out there, here they are. There are your socials. Get in touch with them and make some magic. Jose Manuel, David CHEN, Ricky Barksdale, Kenny Wong, EVELYN VACCARO, thank you so much for taking some time outside.
Awesome.
Poison Plan rocks the world.